Welcome to Soap Hub Says. I'm Alina Adams. I'm a writer at Soap Hub, and I'm also a novelist. My latest historical fiction, Go On Pretending, takes place in the early days of soaps.
Hi, I'm Tina Charles, and I'm the managing editor of Soap Hub.
This week, we are starting with Beyond the Gates, and I will open with my awe of how Vernon and Anita can blame Bill for Danny's marriage and everything else in the world. And then they turn around and demand he does them yet another service. That is some fine baller moves there.
Anita and Vernon are the king and queen. They can do whatever they want. Alina?
Okay, then let me ask you this. What kind of rich people are they that they cannot pull strings in their own gated community? How are they acting? What is the point of being rich and the queen and king of all things if you cannot pull strings to get what you want?
I don't understand how things aren't going their way. Fans have been talking about this, actually, about how Leslie keeps winning and winning and winning. And also how much did Leslie inherit? Because right now it seems very bottomless.
The math is just not mathing on that. Let's assume that Anita put in what? She wasn't putting in $1 million a year.
She might have been putting more than that. Plus, I don't know if there's any, I mean, she may have directed her royalties to go in there. Who knows? And then if they've been investing this whole time, I still think it shouldn't be as bottomless. Today on Beyond the Gates, Leslie said she was going to have a house on every continent or something like that. Like, how?
Okay, here's the reason I don't think Anita was putting all of her royalties into the account that became Leslie's, simply because she and Vernon are living pretty well.
They are.
And so I think a good chunk of the money is theirs, but there's money and there's power that are two different things. I believe Anita had the money, but Vernon is supposed to have the power. The dude was a senator and he doesn't have a judge friend who can
remember
fire
family. I mean, wasn't one of their relatives is the one that built Fairmount Crest, at least the country club or something like that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I just think a senator should have more power. Oh, and fun fact, since the show premiered, my husband was furious that they made Vernon a senator and not a congressman, since he insisted there were no black senator during Vernon's time period. But I looked it up. Edward Brooke was a Republican from Massachusetts who served from 1967 to 1979 and was the first African-American senator elected by direct election rather than being appointed. So there, Vernon must be based on him. I have figured it out. Vernon is a Republican.
Your husband is wrong.
Okay, thank you. Tina, thank you for focusing on the most important part. You know, learning is great. We all love to learn, ding, the more you know. But yes, my husband was wrong. And thank you. And I appreciate your allyship.
Yes, anytime, anytime. And Martin's the congressman now. So he's
very bad at everything. So we understand why he's a congressman, not a senator.
That's true. And he hardly works, and everybody knows there's a shutdown right now. So there you go.
Well, but he was ahead of the game. He's so brilliant. He was ahead of the shutdown. He knew when he worked before there was a shutdown. That's how brilliant Martin is. So we're making fun, but you know how it is in soaps. We mock because we love.
I love Beyond the Gates. I'm loving everything about it, almost everything about it.
I want to talk about a scene that I genuinely love. No shade. I really loved the scenes post Doug's funeral with Danny, Nicole, Chelsea, and Kat. I mean, you really got a sense. Those actresses who have probably only known each other for a year really created a vibe that these are sisters who basically raised their daughters as sisters, and they're all one family. And I thought that was really well done. I mean, nothing happened in those scenes, but they were really fun to watch.
Well, I was a little upset that we didn't actually, this is the first big death of Beyond the Gates, really. The bigoted busboy died. He was killed. Yeah, that wasn't a big deal. But this was like a big death. And so I was hoping we'd actually see some of the funeral, Nicole's eulogy and everything like that. However, those scenes that we did get I felt the emotions. So I was cool with it. I was cool with it. So I agree. Those scenes were well done.
Those scenes were really well done. And going from that to a comment I would like to make, Eva, honey, sweetheart, I realize you were raised by a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs fruitcake. But one thing she didn't do is give you a strong sense of self, because Eva, you can do so much better than the block of wood known as Tomas.
I think we could say that to both Eva and Kat. They can do so much better. Kat, after that whole thing happened, the whole big scene, the explosion, and she said she still wanted Tomas back. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Eva and Kat can do so much better. This guy says whatever he wants, and they just buy it. I don't know why.
Yeah. On the other hand, if you put to me Bill versus Andre for Danny, it's Andre. It's Andre. There's really nothing to this. And I like Bill. I like Bill a lot. I think the actor is fabulous. I love what they're doing with the character. I started talking about how Vernon and Anita mistreat him, so I love Bill. But who for Danny? Andre. And write-in candidate, Andre.
Yes. And especially seeing them go toe to toe last week, I thought that Bill would clean him up. I thought that he's a lawyer, right? This is what he does, and that he would win the standoff. But no, Andre won. Andre was so good. He called Bill old, called Bill a gigolo. He mopped him up. I was shocked. And then today on Beyond the Gates, I don't know if you saw, but Leslie and June went at it. And Leslie also went at it with Nicole. This is what she does. It's all she does. She goes around and she just has it in, has it out with everybody. But I was hoping that if those two confronted each other, that she would be okay. Like she would hold her own, right? And she did. She wasn't bothered by Leslie at all. She wasn't scared. She just stood right up to Leslie and gave it back to her, because it was all because of Ted. Ted was there. Leslie saw Ted flirt with June. And so right away she went over to June and said, stay away from my man. And June was like, whatever. And it was really nice.
Well, here's the thing. Leslie keeps making fun of Nicole, how she's so bougie and Leslie's so street, and she, has street smarts, but she's got nothing on June. Leslie, for all of her whining and complaining about the hard life that she had, now we know, raised by a loving adoptive mother, had a marriage where, even though he wasn't the greatest guy and he wasn't Ted, raised Ava, so she was never destitute. No matter how badass Leslie thinks she is, June had it a little
always worse. Yeah. And the fact that Leslie has come into all this money, you can see her already trying to fit into that mold of the Fairmont Crest mold. So she's talking a little bit more, demure, and she's looking down on June, although she was right where June was just not too long ago, right? But it's funny. It's funny just to see the dynamics between Leslie and June, and I hope they give us more of that.
So from behind the gates of a gated community to Los Angeles, the city of angels. All right, your thoughts on B&B this week?
Well, today's B&B answered the question of who's the baby daddy, if Will is the baby daddy of Luna's fetus or whatever you want to call it. He is. So they decided to go that route. Although we have an article that just went up on Soap Hub that has had a fan theory that maybe Bridget, who was the one that administered the test, and Katie were in cahoots to switch the paternity, which I think I would have loved to have seen. And then all of a sudden Luna's like, I thought Will was a baby daddy, but now everybody is thinking that it's not. But they went with Will, so we'll see what happens. And now Deputy Chief Baker came in and wants to take her off to jail. We'll see if that happens too.
So it's all about babies this week on Daytime, which, to be fair, soaps are very, very much about babies. And on Days of Our Lives, you were just talking about how Luna would be confused if Will didn't turn out to be the father. Well, on Days of Our Lives, we seem because paternity tests at Salem University Hospital, not very reliable. But for now, we're supposed to believe that based on the tests they've done, that Tate is not the father of Sophia's baby. Sophia certainly seemed surprised. So it's like, as you mentioned, that Luna would have been surprised. And here's where the story kind of will either get really, really good or really, really fall apart. If Sophia knew all along that Tate wasn't the baby's father, then why jump through all the hoops she did? Because she said, oh, as soon as Tate lays eyes on the baby, he won't want to give him up and I'll be stuck raising him. But if she knew Tate wasn't the father, then that wouldn't be the problem. So why would she do this to herself if she knew that Tate wasn't the father? Now, the viewers, at least the mail we've been getting at Soap Hub, assume that it's Aaron because there's only two teenage guys in town, and I guess that Aaron is the other guy. But here's the thing. Aaron never mentioned to his best bud, Tate, that he slept with Sophia, if only to brag. I mean, they've kept telling us how Aaron is this dork. We know he's a dork because he plays Dungeons and Dragons, and that's so incredibly unappealing that no woman could ever be with a guy who plays dragons. As I like to point out, my husband plays Magic the Gathering. So much cooler. But the Aaron we've met, don't you think he would have, if he'd slept with Sophia, especially since Tate was with Holly at the time, wouldn't Aaron go running to his best bro and tell him that he slept with Sophia?
I don't know if he would tell him, but we would see it on his face. We have never ever, we've never ever seen him like try and hide some sort of look like he's hiding a secret or anything like that. He's just always talked to Tate about Holly and Sophia, just as if that's something that belongs to Tate. He's never made it seem like anything else. So I really don't know what to make of this whole story.
Yeah, the only thing I'm hoping for is if Sophia was raped. Not that I'm hoping for someone to be raped. That's such a terrible sentence to say. I'm hoping Sophia was raped. But I'm hoping that maybe she was, and it's the kind of thing where she blocked it out, and it was so traumatic that she couldn't deal with it. So she just said, oh, Tate's the only guy I've slept with. Tate has to be the baby's father, because she's put herself through hell only because Tate is the baby's father.
Or she was blackout drunk or something. You never know. I don't know. And she just forgot or didn't realize. I don't know. There's something there, and I hope they tell us soon. This story has been going on a while.
We've also, last week, we got to see the wonderful episode celebrating Jennifer's, Melissa Reeves, 40 years, and she came on as a teenager as Jennifer. That's the cool thing.
I love those flashbacks.
Great. Okay, I am such a flashback girl that show me a flashback of anything. Show me a flashback of grass waving, and I'll go, oh, remember
I need the flashbacks to be 40 years ago, right? I don't like the flashbacks things just happened yesterday.
But within the same episode. How about the
same episode? I've been seeing that recently on soaps. And so I need to clarify that what made these flashbacks so amazing is that they were from 40 years ago. They were from the heyday of Jack and Jennifer.
They were from before she met Jack. They were when she ran away and was living in Salem. And Alice, remember that great scene where she's like, oh, the girls don't like me because I want their boyfriends want me. And Alice is like, sweetheart, maybe this is on you. If nobody liked you at your old school, if nobody likes you here, if you don't like anyone, let's look for the common denominator. I'm paraphrasing Alice, but I really love it.
But that's the essence. That was the essence. And also she's talking about Frankie and Emilio. It was great.
So 5 stars, kudos, Days of Our Lives. I know it's expensive.
But miss me on the as much as I think that she's right to her hatred of Kat Green, which I do think she is. She's right I think she needs to lay off Chad and allow Chad to feel what he's feeling. That's what I'll say on that.
And our final Days of Our Lives point, and you know how I admitted weeks ago that I no longer understand the business story on The Young and the Restless. I don't know who wants what. I don't know who's allied with whom. I don't know. I now don't understand the business story on Days of Our Lives. Tony got Tamara back. Philip and Xander kept Titan. So in aggregate, nothing happened?
So they're back where they were, basically. However, Titan is in disrepair, Yeah,
they have no money. They're losing no money. They may have to get
so they need to rebuild and repair, and renovate and all the R words. Rehab.
Yeah, yeah. Reminisce, rotate.
And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because I told you, I've told you before, I freaking love the Titan brothers and the dynamic and everything like that. So I'm good with them getting their company back. I'm good with them seeing them rebuild. And I even like Maggie's dynamic with them now.
Yeah,
I really
really
dig all of them working together. They can stay away from Demera. Can just worry about themselves.
You're right. You're right. All right. So now talk about worrying General Hospital. All right, Tina, who shot Drew?
I don't know who shot Drew, but I love that Michael may have framed Willow for it. But what if he framed Willow for it and she actually did it?
Yeah, that would be
That's what I'm rooting for.
Okay, so I'm rooting for someone to get raped. You're rooting for the mother of young children to be a killer and go to prison. We are bad people, Tina.
We are bad people, but I tell myself this is soap opera. We can do this.
That's right. All right. So here's another question about bad people. So are Ronnie and Martin in cahoots to steal Monica's house?
I feel like they are. Okay, I don't know if they're both in cahoots, but I think Martin is driving this whole thing. He's been wanting to get back at Tracy really, really badly. Remember, she sent him to jail.
Let's see a little jail.
And I think it's brilliant if he messed with the will. And because reading that will, Alexis reading that will, I just couldn't believe it when she said that Ronnie got that house. There's no way Monica would have done that. I could see
her delivery. You like her delivery? This is my house. Monica gave it to me. I mean, that was subtle writers. I mean, because Ronnie has no idea that that's what Monica used to say. So, but
Right.
that's nice. Erica Slezak and Jane Elliott, let's just watch them discuss anything. Let's just watch. Remember I said watching grass grow? Let's watch them discussing watching grass grow. Oh my God, so wonderful to see these veterans. And you know what? So I was a very strange child. I think we've covered this before. I started watching General Hospital in 1980 when Luke and Laura were the hottest thing. But I at 11 years old was into the Rick, Monica, Leslie, Alan storyline. So I've always liked older characters, even though I think I'm now older than they were during the time of that storyline. Let's not go there. So, soaps have always been on this chase for young people. But you watch pros like Erica Slezak and Jane Elliott, and how could that not be more compelling than, I'm sorry, Joss and Vaughn playing super secret spy agents?
I think that General Hospital has the best of both worlds right now. I feel like their veterans are so amazing, and we're seeing like this acting clinic by Jane Elliott and Erica Slezak. But then they've got that younger with the Danny and Rocco and Charlotte contingent, who I think are really great too.
Emma and Gio.
Emma and Gio, and they are so amazing. Like I can't get enough of Emma, and she's so cute. So I think that General Hospital kind of has that the young and the old thing going, like older. I don't want to say old.
We're looking towards maybe having some multi-generational conflict, because if Molly does find Rick, then what? Will she cover up for Alexis the way Alexis did for Christina? So that actually is an opportunity, as you said, to get many generations into the same story.
Yes, I need the secrets in that story to stop, though. They need to stop somewhere, and so they need to stop with Molly. I hope everything just blows up big, and so we can put all of that to bed.
Now, but not tied up with a ball gag.
Ball gagged and tied and a hospital gurney or whatever he's laying on.
It's amazing what Alexis and Ava just had laying around.
Well, I expect that of I was going to say, I meant to say Ava, not Alexis, but Alexis is surprising.
Allergies. I don't know where you all are in the country, but where we are on the East Coast, allergies.
I'm the Midwest. Allergy Central.
So we apologize, but pollen. Okay, and we're going to wrap this up while we both still have voices left with The Young and the Restless. So Nikki wants Victor to destroy Kane's AI superweapon. How do you destroy a computer program? It is not a physical thing. Even if Victor deletes his version, won't Kane have the original? And he can use it or sell it to other people. Do the writers know how technology works?
There's an app for that, I'm sure.
You are funny. You are funny. But so
But who knows?
today, Phyllis told Kane she never considered using AI to fix his reputation. Could that be because she has no idea what an AI is? And
We've covered this, Alina. She read Wikipedia.
read Wikipedia.
She
So it's
knows
actually
AI.
it's funny because my husband, remember the cool guy who plays Magic the Gathering, because he's so cool, he's been in tech since the 1990s. He's basically been on the internet. It was just him and Al Gore. And he was in the room today and he overheard Kane and Phyllis's conversation. And he actually came over and he's like, do they know what they are talking about? Sure, I'll give you a computer program. Here's a copy of it. Here's 2 copies.
I was a little disappointed with Jack I expected of Diane, but Jack, and I know how Jack was in the past. I know he was down and dirty with the rest of them, but I never thought that he would actually contemplate using the big super secret powerful AI on Victor. I feel like that is old Jack, I guess.
Considering how Victor has been treating him, first of all, he'll never
Get it. I get wanting to, but actually doing it, like he looked like he would do it.
Well, maybe he's just trying to threaten Victor, or maybe he's trying to psych himself up.
I know that's more Billy's area. That's what Billy was threatening to do, just to kind of threaten Victor with it, but not really use it. Jack's, I don't know.
Well, okay, so we don't know what Jack's going to do, but I have to say, I laughed so hard when Victor told Nick to let Noah solve his own problems. He's a big boy. Victor never gets involved in his children's lives.
Victor is so about family first until somebody wants to take care of their own children. It's like Nick wants to go tend to his family for once, right? Like, who knows where Christian is? But Noah is seemingly in trouble, depending on who you talk to. Sharon thinks he's just all lovey-dovey with Allie still, but I don't think that's going to be going on, especially since he's apparently getting into a car accident or something like that. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if you ever watched South Park, but there was one thing where Cartman laughed so hard he blew a funny fuse. That's was me when Victor was explaining how Nick shouldn't get involved in his children's lives. I blew a funny fuse. I could not.
Waiting for lightning to strike at that moment.
And not to make light of car accidents, but maybe Sharon and Nick's children should just not be allowed on the road.
Chauffeur. Everywhere.
Yeah, they're very rich. Why can't they hire them a chauffeur? Exactly. We had Cassie, it was a beautiful storyline, beautifully acted, beautifully tragic. Cassie driving a drunk Daniel home. Then just, I think a year ago, we had Faith with a drunk Lucy getting into a car accident. These children.
I think she got into a car accident even before that, like a couple years
before. She was driving.
That Adam
yes.
saved. You saved her with the kidney or something like that?
Yes. That was her second car accident. You're right. I had forgotten. Adam, they were pinned down by some girder and Adam was going to escape, but then he decided to stay and give Faith a kidney. Yes. So they should not be allowed on the road. That is what I have decided.
Oh, and they're in LA, so have a chauffeur, right?
Yeah, okay. So we've solved that, but look at us saving the Newman family. We're so good. We're so good. We're like in Wicked, Glinda, you are just so good. How do you stand it? I don't think I could. So that is us, and that is us for now. I'm Alina Adams. My novel, Go On Pretending, A Tale of the Early Days of Soaps, is available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com.
And I'm Tina Charles. Head over to Soap Hub to sign up for our newsletters and check us out on social media, especially this Friday, because Soap Hub will be on the red carpet of the Daytime Emmys. So make sure to keep checking back for updates on the winners and photos and interviews from the event.